Hi, and welcome to the Prado Museum. We're here again with our weekly sessions in English, just a few moments before the museum opens, streaming live on the Prado's social media program. And we'd like to say that this is thanks to the ongoing gracious invitation of the museum to share its wonderful collection in as many formats possible, and the support of the members of our nonprofit Friends of the Prado Museum. And in that sense, we ask everyone to find out about the Fundación Amigos, the Spanish Amigos that support the museum, or our nonprofit from the United States, the American Friends. You can find out about us on our websites. And here today, we are in a room in the museum that is numbered 55A. It is dedicated to Flemish painters from the 1500s. And we're going to have a particular look at the artist Joachim Patinir and his very most famous work, probably Charon crossing the Styx. Now, we can look at the wall panel, and Patinir was active in painting in the city of Antwerp, of what is today Belgium, with a very important artistic center for art production, both in quantity and in quality. And he is one of possibly the first artists to try to distinguish himself by specializing in a certain subject. And he is considered the first painter who specializes in landscapes. And we know this because in 1520, Albert Dürer travels to Antwerp and he writes about him, Master Joachim, a good painter of landscapes. So that's the first historical reference to a painter of this type. And he develops a beautiful world panoramic. And in this composition, which is an oil on panel, he divides the composition into 3 vertical planes. He brings us in first with a wide river that starts from the center foreground and takes us to the high horizon. And it focuses on the figure of Charon in the center. And now Charon in Greek mythology is the boatman who ferries the souls of the deceased across the river Styx to the kingdom of the dead. And in this composition, Patinir is fusing classical Greco-Roman mythology with Christian beliefs. Because this divided the composition, to the left of the river Styx is a representation. We have an angel who's pointing the way to this narrow tributary, narrow rocky watery entrance that follows through a wooden path up to a beautiful wooded area with green lush vegetation and a fantastic crystal fountain of water, which would be the fountain of life referenced in the book of Genesis. And it keeps going up to a city in the distance, a blue city, which could be a reference to the celestial Jerusalem. So this is Christian paradise, and we see soul figures being accompanied by angels and enjoying what is Christian paradise, because this painting is addressing one of our eternal human concerns, our death as humans and our fate after death. So we have on the left paradise, and on the right the soul can see a calm cove with calm waters surrounded by luscious fruit trees that are welcoming and attractive. But right as the water takes a bend, it leads the traveler straight to the gates of hell. Here we have the 3-headed Cerberus of Greek mythology, who is the guardman, the hound of hell, who doesn't allow any of the deceased souls to ever leave the kingdom of the dead. And then from there it continues up into a horrific landscape with violence and fiery punishments and suffering. And what Patinir is addressing us with this is the moment of choice. You know, our morality as humans, our choice between, he's looking to references of the New Testament and also to classical references of Hercules' choice between good and evil. But also in the New Testament with the Gospel of Matthew, it says that the road to life is narrow and straight and difficult, whereas the road to perdition is easy and many will take that way. And so this is a reference, this is what we call, it turned into what they call a memento mori, which is meant to remind us of our upcoming death, our choices that we make, and the consequences of them. So it's a very moralistic painting. What we do see is that it seems that the soul and Charon have decided to go towards the easy path. And Charon is depicted here, according to descriptions in classical literature, as a giant with a long, unkempt beard, kind of disheveled, and there he is following those references. Now, Patinir, with his wide landscapes, he follows this kind of a beautiful formula of greens and browns in the foreground with this high perspective, greens and browns that move up to these beautiful mirror-like blues that change in hue as they get in the distance, and always a promising light of white on the horizon. And this is, the curator at the Prado has helped us, think about that light, that it's a promising, poetic attraction to the future, to what is beyond, always just beyond. But it makes it for a beautiful painting, and I think that maybe we're more attracted to the beauty of the painting nowadays than thinking about the choices and the moralistic choices that it's giving to us. There's many details in the painting that we don't see. For example, behind these beautiful natural apple trees and birds, what's also hidden from the soul in the boat is a representation of the devil. And here he is represented as a monkey, taking on a monkey type shape. So, but he's also hidden, as is paradise is hidden from the soul. So there's what we can't see, and we have to have our own moral basis, to be able to not be fooled by what we don't see. And in the background here also, as we go up to these horrible punishments, Patinir, in some of his paintings, included in more than one occasion a defecating figure. And so here he is behind this, there he is, behind this rock. And because defecating has to do with sin and the devil and death. But anyway, he was referred to as tacker, that he put these little figures into his paintings. Now, we don't know who commissioned this work, but it wouldn't be an altarpiece. It's a cabinet painting for a cultured person who was looking to classical references and combining it with their Christian humanist faith, of the Northern Renaissance. Now, Patinir was brought to Spain under the reign probably of Philip II in the second half of the 1500s, and as we can see, there's 4 works of his here at the Prado, which makes it a necessary place to understand the work of this really beautiful, interesting artist. There was a great exhibit also a few years ago that helped us understand a lot more about Patinir. And so it's definitely worthwhile, and we thank you for listening today, and we thank you for your interest and your support in the Prado Museum, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.